Hello, everyone. I am Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and this is Oracle Live TV. All right, I am so glad that we are back again. We have a really amazing guest coming on soon. But before we start with our guest, I want to do a few things to remind you of some special things we have going on here at Oracle Live TV. Number one, if you are in a watch party, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for being in the watch party. And we love to have you joining us wherever you are from and whoever invited you over. However, if you want to ask a question, which will be point number 2, I'll get to in a moment, you need to be in the room, which means that you'll need to actually show up to the link, direct link in my Coach Leah Dunlap Oracle on Purpose Facebook page. So if you want to ask a question, which you can do, you'll need to be in the room to do that so we can actually see the question and answer it for you. I love people that are watching on the watch parties. I know sometimes it's a lot of fun too. So feel free to add more people to the watch parties, create your own watch parties. And tonight we're going to do something a little different because I know that not everybody is reminded that we are going live and then they're like, oh my gosh, they're live. I have to get over there. So I have something special set up for you guys tonight. I'll tell you about that in a little bit. But before I do, I want to tell you a little bit about myself and how Oracle Live TV came to be. So like I said, I am Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose. I am an intuitive business architect. I help my clients who are light-bearing leaders and purpose-driven entrepreneurs to actually align their life purpose with their business genius so they can create powerhouse businesses that flow as they grow and so that they can really make the difference they're meant to make here in the world, which is part of why I have created Oracle Live TV. It's the opportunity to really share and showcase other really amazing light-bearing leaders and entrepreneurs who are doing the work, if you will, of helping to bring people to their full purpose in their lives and their businesses. So that's why I choose and select those guests that come on here each week to share with you what they are about, what's up with them. And of course, because the Oracle included in this process the opportunity to give some insight for those people who might have a question or a query or even be stuck in some quandary about what their next step is, to give them the platform to really be honored for who they are, what they're doing, and hopefully get a little insight to help them continue to move and go forward in their business and help the world. So as you might have heard before, the Oracle is an entity that I work with. I've had this gift since I was 14 years old. Truth be told, it's probably been with me my whole life. But it became very apparent when I was 14 and I had my first full body apparition show up, and I could no longer dismiss those ideas, concepts, and knowings that were popping up in my life. And when I embraced that, I actually found that I was able to really help people. And with that information, with that knowledge and the divine insight that the Oracle provides, I've helped thousands of people over the last 25 years. And I'm really thrilled to be able to offer that service and that gift to others who are trying to make the world a better place with what they're doing. And that's why I'm really excited for my first guest. We're going to go in and talk to her in just a minute. And many of you already who've been watching this show for a while, thank you very much, know that the next thing that we do, along with questions, is we like to play a little game. So tonight, our show game is hashtag Insight, which some of you know. I'm going to post that here so you guys can see what I mean. Excuse me. There we go. Hashtag Insight. What is hashtag Insight? Well, it's really simple. If you hear something that I've said, something that the guest has said, something that the Oracle has said, and it sparks some sort of insight or inspiration in you, I invite you to go ahead and note it down inside the chat log. Once you do, at the end of the show, we'll pull somebody's name at random and we'll be giving away a prize. So today's prize is this really cool journal. There you go. See it? Beautiful. Nice bound journal. And the great thing is I like journals that have a little something extra, and this one does. It actually has this really cool little back flap. So you can tuck little things in there, your receipts, your love notes, inspiration, perhaps some affirmations, or even better yet, power affirmations, as many of you know. All right, so that's the giveaway for tonight. So it's hashtag Insight and whatever inspires you, and I'll put you in the drawing for that. And of course, if you come in, and like I said, if you're watching this on a watch party, do come in the room so that you can ask a question. So we'll try to leave a little space at the end of the call to answer any questions that come up, or at least as many as we can. So when you get on, and if you have a question, you can post it at any time. So in order to post it, just put Q&A and your question, right? So you'll see this come up. It's almost time. When you see that again, go ahead and post your questions. If you want to make sure you get your question answered, I would post it when you come in the room. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to invite our first and luckily our only guest tonight. She's a very special guest tonight. She is a fellow wine lover, which I can appreciate completely. Her name is Danielle Isaac. And, when I asked Danielle, like, what is your title? She said this, and I think this is fabulous. She says, design your dream business startup coach. That's what she is. And I love it. And I'm going to let her tell you right now a little bit more about what that means. So yes. Hi, Danielle. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Leah. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. Tell us a little bit about what does that mean? What is that for you? What does that mean when people are hearing that?
Oh, gosh. You know what it is starting my own business was a dream. Mm. And so many people that I talk to are like, I have always wanted to do something that is fulfilling, gives in a bigger way, that allows me to have freedom and time back for myself, and just to get life back in balance. Mm. And I say, well, usually that means starting your own business.
Right. Yeah. To create your own balance. I love it. So, as you work with clients, and I know we probably have some similar crossover there with clients, what do you find is that big hurdle, the biggest hurdle for people to want to come out and really take advantage of doing their own business?
Oh my gosh. The biggest hurdle is, can we just say fear? Just put it under the label of
we can, and we will. Yeah, absolutely. Right.
But it's really the fear, if you really check into it, it's really the fear of the unknown, because everything that they have in their life right now is unknown. Mm. And it's like, I know what I'm getting with what I have now. But stepping into starting something brand new, I don't know what I'm going to get. I don't know how it's going to turn out. What if it doesn't work out? All those voices pop into our head. And so it's learning to step into and get comfortable with, for a while, stepping into the unknown.
Yeah, I love it. So you said, of course, that part of this is like how you started. So tell me, like, what made you get over that fear of the unknown? What was it for you that made you say, yes, I'm going to do this. I'm going to work on my own. I'm curious.
Right. I would say it's two things. First of all, it was the discomfort, where I was at now was not comfortable anymore. And wasn't, it just wasn't what I was passionate about doing. And I knew it, but, I denied that for a long time. But I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do next. And I was really in that space for years of like, okay, but what is it that I'm meant to do? And I just kept asking that question. What am I meant to do, right? What am I being called to do? And I think we all have that something we're meant to do. But then at the same time, there's like that squashing, that limiting beliefs and doubts. And it feels impossible to kind of squish that back down again and push it back down. But the question kept coming up again. But what is it I'm meant to do? I feel like I'm supposed to be doing something more. I feel like I'm supposed to be making a bigger difference. But I can't see what that is. And so I finally went and saw an amazing mentor. She became my first mentor. She's an amazing inspirational speaker, and coach feels like too small of a title for her. But she's world renowned. And I went and saw her at a conference, and she really helped me see what was possible for myself. Even if it was just for a minute, I could see, like, I really want to be a coach. I started out as a life coach, and I was like, I really want to be a coach. I want to be an inspirational speaker. And that just opening that window long enough for me to see what I wanted to do was awesome. Like, it was like, oh my God, that's what I wanted. I've been denying it for so long. That's what I want to do. I have no idea how to do that, but that's.
Oh, I love this. So as everyone knows, and we're seeing now, this is live television, folks. So sometimes we have a little lag, and I don't know if Danielle, you just kind of broke for a moment, which is fine. It happens. But I love that concept of like just a little bit of the vision was enough to kind of get before you were a coach? I'm curious.
So, can you say that? I just
Oh, yeah.
out.
Sorry, I'm cutting out now. Yeah. I was asking, what were you doing before? So you like went and leapt off to be a coach, but what were you doing prior to that?
I was a sales manager. So I was in operations. I worked in customer service and in call centers, and I had been doing that since college. So like 18 years.
Wow. Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I love those. I love talking about that piece because I think people are like, well, I'm too old, or it's too late, or this is it. This is what I get. And I love to hear people's stories because I think it's really inspiring for people, especially our viewers, to go, oh, like it's never really too late to find that thing, as you were saying, that really is going to fulfill you. And I'm extra curious now as you've started into this, like you said, oh, now I know what I want to do. You look back, like many of us probably do, and say, like, oh my gosh, thank goodness that I made that leap, right?
Oh,
Which I talk a lot with my clients about the leap of faith, and really how that can propel you forward even further. So now that you're here and you're doing this work, what would you say to a person who's standing on the edge of that leap, like who isn't there yet but feels like, oh, this is my next big leap? What would you say to them now, looking back, like hindsight being 2020 for yourself?
I would say if somebody comes along and says, I can help you do that, and you have a sense that they can, jump on that opportunity and say yes.
I love it.
Because those people are rare. The ones who can actually help you see how to make that kind of transition and believe more in you than you believe in yourself. Those are really rare gems in the world. And if you're standing on the threshold and it feels scary,
yeah,
that moment of decision feels so scary, like you can feel it in your chest. It's like that do or die kind of feeling. And it's like that, if you feel that feeling, it's like that's your inside saying, go for it. This is it. This is the stretch. You've got to go for it. This is the life-changing moment that you've got to slip into. And so that's what I was like, I can tell when people are like, I can feel it right here,
Yeah, I can feel it, like you're talking like, oh yeah,
feeling right here, don't you? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, that means you got to do it.
right. Yeah, right. Because it's like, I think it's so true. Like we have so many moments in our lives where and here's the thing, I think there's two pieces, and I've been doing this for 25 years, and I've seen a lot of people at that level, at that space, when they're like, are you serious? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. And I think that what's fun is when I give them permission not to. I think, as you were saying, it's like, here's the reality. Like, you shouldn't ever feel like you can't say no to this. And it's interesting enough to me that when I say, or not, and they're like, well, no, like, don't take it away from me. I'm like, ready. I'm like, exactly. So it's like, we have to kind of sometimes play that game with ourselves, that it's like, okay, we're taking it away. Never mind. And then you think, wow, what if the universe really did that? What if the universe said, oh, well, you don't want this, Okay, well, let's just pull that back now. And I think that when people see that moment, they're like, oh, yeah, wait, no, I don't want you to take that away from me. I'm ready. So I love that advice, and I love that concept of feel into it, right? Like notice what's happening. As we were saying, like even if it's like in your body, it's telling you that this is time, then lean into it. And I also appreciate your saying, find the right mentor, find the right person who has either been there already or who can walk beside you as you do something new for yourself and support you and guide you through the process of making those big changes or taking those big risks. And I just think what a blessing to have people who are watching this and watching the replay here. And as a side note, by the way, if you're here, hi, I see some great people coming on, say hello. Just a reminder, #insight if you hear some great stuff, which we're already diving into some great stuff with Danielle Isaac here, to be in the entry for the drawing tonight for the prize. And also something new we're doing tonight. If you want to make sure that you don't miss the first part of our call every time and you're wandering around Facebook going, oh shoot, I forgot. please write live view in the comments, and we will make sure that our system will actually make sure to notify you every time we go live from now on. So you don't have to worry about it. It'll give you a little knock on the door saying, hello, they're going live, come on over. So live view in the comments, and that'll get you automatically notified when we're live next time. And Danielle, what do you have anything right now that you're working on, projects or things like that that you can share with our audience?
Yeah, quite a few.
I love it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a few things. I'm really starting to work more and more with women in particular who are in this space of they don't know what their purpose is. Like they feel a sense that they have a purpose, but they're not sure what that is. And they need help kind of clarifying that. It's like they know they have a purpose and they also know that they need to make this lifestyle change. Like and bring life back in balance and enjoy life again. And so I'm working more and more with those people to really start to see the bigger vision of what they want to create and start to believe that it's possible for themselves. And so I take them through a program that I actually certified in as a dream builder coach and a life mastery consultant that really helps them really understand what their purpose is. And there's actually a spiritual thing that we're being called to do, and to really step into that is not only beneficial to us, it's like helping so many other people. So that's one of the first things that I wasn't even planning to do that, but the more and more I'm speaking to people, I'm speaking to 3 or 4 women a day, and I'm like, okay, this is an important part of what I do. And then the second part is I'm really working with women who already know what they want to do. And what I love to help them do is kind of systematize it. Turn it into like a program or a package, something that's tangible that they can start to sell. That is going to change other people's lives. One of the things that you've probably seen this too, is like we so don't get that we have so much amazing wisdom up here.
Right.
That people like that would change other people's lives.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. We don't know how much we know and how much other people. It's so true. I think that that's a great point. Like we have what we need to share. I like to say that. Like whatever you have, it is enough. It is enough because it's yours. So I love that. Oh, hey, Maureen. Maureen's here. Hi, Maureen. She's in the room. She found us. Yay. Yeah. So I think that's true. Like we don't give ourselves, and I was going to say women especially, but I think even that, I think most people don't give themselves enough credit for what, the knowledge that they've amassed in their lives and how that can help someone else that doesn't, hasn't either come across that or, that's not their path yet. So I love that. I love that that's a piece of what you're doing as well. So tell me, I know we talked a little bit earlier before we started that you have a book. So what's your book about?
So my book is called Exhausted to Exuberant, and it's really that journey from having a job that's totally exhausting you and how to start to transition into a job that is exhilarating. It energizes you. You're excited about doing it. And some of the initial steps that you need to take in order to start moving that direction. And one of the first activities that I take people through is really creating that vision of where you want your life to be 3 years from now.
I love it.
Yeah, so you really have a sense of like what you would really love to create. I think we forget that we can create the life we would love, and that we are creative by nature, and that if we can see it, we can create it. So the first step is to start seeing or visualizing what it is we want to create. So that book really takes people through that process of how to start really visualizing that next journey, that next level in their life.
Awesome. And so as you're talking about this, I find myself being curious about how, of course, the Oracle, which is what we're here to talk to, or who we're here to talk to, can help you as you're moving forward in your journey. So what question do you have for the Oracle this evening?
I think the biggest question is, who am I meant to serve?
Wow. And as you ask that question, A follow-up reply would be, are you asking from a perspective of being more strategic, or are you asking for like the purpose side of that and the global side of that?
More strategic.
More strategic. Yeah. Okay. So it's funny to me. Always when the oracle comes in, she's so cheeky. She likes to tease people with these questions, and I was like, huh, it's an interesting request back. And I think it's that it's the idea that, you know, if you're wanting to be more strategic, that you have to look at the five. She's saying the five that shine the brightest. So the five in either the five people, the last five people you've worked with. Actually, I take that back. When she's saying shine the brightest, that you feel most aligned with and have had the best success with, the five. And I think it's five. I get the sense it's five because there are aspects of each of those five that would combined make that, you know, as they say, the avatar.
Yeah.
Right? It's like the five. It's funny. Like she's showing me like a circle. I don't know if do you do groups?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Did you have a group recently of 5 people?
No.
Okay.
I've been working on creating that.
Okay. So she's showing me a circle of women. Hey, there's this hint. So circle of women, 5 of them. And so like the circle makes me think of like a group. So it's interesting because then I'm thinking, well, of course, then if that means that this is 5 to come, but it's not, because here in front of me, when I see things in front of me, that means like 3 to 6, like this is the present. Then there's the future and there's the past. So it's like it's coming. So I don't know if you actually have this open and you're ready to do it or not, but it's like this group is there. Yeah, so they're there. So I'm thinking maybe 3 to 6 months that will come to be. So there's women. I see so it feels more tied to strategy, like business strategy, like business, like almost like a mastermind group from the perspective of being about like brass, like, okay, this is the phrase she's getting, brass tacks. It's like down to brass tacks. I don't know if that's like it's down to brass tacks, like, hey, we're getting serious about this, or it literally is like we're almost like from an accounting perspective, we're like down to the details. But this group seems to be a very a group of 5 who are, but she's tying me back to people that you've worked with in the past. So maybe it is about like asking yourself, if you created a group with these, who would the people in the past that you work with, who would you fill that circle of 5 with? Right? So who would be like-minded, or because the circle's really tight. Like I'm seeing them like with their arms around each other. You know how like you gather in a circle, like, I don't know why I'm thinking about that, but it's like around a campfire or something and everybody's got their arms around each other. So it's a really tight circle. So with that in mind, I'm thinking this circle, then they have to be cohesive. There has to be either a really good fit among the group, or there needs to be some sort of, yeah, they're individuals. I'm going to say some sort of cohesive, like group project, but it's not group project. It's definitely their own strategies. It's that they're coming together really tight. All business women, which, I mean, that makes sense. But I mean, when I say business women, like professional, they're wearing professional attire. So they're like, like, I'm not going to stick my foot in that one. Okay. So they're wearing professional attire. And is there, she keeps like pointing me back. Okay. So thinking back, is there like somebody right now that's popping into your head that you're like, oh man, I would just love to have her in that kind of a group?
Yeah.
Okay. So it feels like there's like she might be the person either to bring other people to the group, or she might be that avatar of who would be in that group with her. So she, in a way, it's saying she would be setting the bar
Ah,
for the group. Yeah. So I don't know whether that means she comes into the group, but she would be the bar that you would use.
very cool. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's helpful.
Yeah.
That's
And
helpful.
yeah, and so it sounds like, I mean, the great thing is that seems, it's like, how do I delineate what's happening here in front of me? That this is a very solid thing happening. So it's like, this is a happening, it's happening, here's what it looks like. And I say that because it's like I said, it's probably 3 to 6 months. It's not something that's long term. It is I guess what she's showing me is it's like it's the next focus. Right. So I don't know if you have like a bunch of, well, I think we already mentioned that, like a bunch of balls in the air of things you want to do. It's like, okay, yes, 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 but boom, like focus here.
Mm-hmm.
Next. So drawing energy into that. And okay. So now it turned into 10. That's why I'm like, wait, what just happened? How did they grow? I think it will grow. Like, I look back down, I'm like, wait, that's more than 5. I think it will grow. So I think it's like this may be like a repeated thing, which may mean that it's like it's a short-term group, and then there's
Mm-hmm.
another one, and there's another one. So it's not necessarily like this wouldn't necessarily be like a year-long program or something.
Right.
Well, whatever that is for you, lengthwise. It's
Yeah.
like it grows and it builds. I'm just checking to see if it gets bigger. I don't get the sense that it gets bigger than that. I think it's like if it grows, it may grow like split, but I still feel like there's this whole idea that the group that's there is tight, right? So
Yeah.
it can't, which makes sense. Like it couldn't be like 50 people and have that same continuity and tight
Right.
connection.
Right.
So it's like that's more important. Not more important, but that's like key,
Okay.
fundamental. Yeah. Yeah. Um, so yeah, so business women, I mean, we're talking mid to 50s, mid 30s to 50s. Not like I mean, I see women who there's either like later in career, but not out of career. So they may be changing from one career to another, but they're not brand new. Like they've done this. They've been around. They know their stuff. So this isn't like you're starting something new. Like, hey, let's start a new bit. Like they know they're successful in the sense of having experience. All women. Again, that woman who you came through the shoes, like she totally agreed with that. Yeah, whoever that was, there's your bar, there's your measurement, avatar, if you will, and that it will grow. And the last piece of that it will grow is it will grow, and you'll oh, okay. So have you ever wanted, that's interesting. So have you ever wanted to train, like be a trainer's trainer? Like have you ever wanted to like have people work for you
Mm.
or teach for you, or like
Just
have assistants or somebody like a partner?
yes. I had two thoughts popped in. One was like kind of like an assistant that grows with me as a business.
Mhm. Yeah, because like, well, it's not really a trained person, sort of, but it was like, oh, okay. So as these grow, it's like I don't know whether that person comes from the group or if it's somebody like you just said, which then comes in and you're kind of bringing them along with you, so that as it grows, you kind of develop pods, is what I'm seeing, of these groups that you're not really,
Oh.
yeah. So
Hmm.
that might be something to consider. It that was a little. I love when she does that. It's like because I'd mentioned the whole fact that it would grow and then separate. It wasn't like still be under your umbrella, but it's going to be multiple groups, and that you wouldn't necessarily be directly responsible or engaged in the groups, but that you maybe it's just like the sense of I get the sense of like it's like copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste, copy and paste. So it's like it's growing that way.
Huh.
So yeah, how does that land for you hearing that?
That's pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
well, it's interesting because I just had this like this vision, so to speak, of the idea I had was to do a business startup boot camp.
Oh, okay.
Where it's like a rigorous 6 months of like, let's just birth this baby and get her out. It's like, let's
Yeah.
get her done and let's go. Um, and so it's those people who are at that stage where they're like, let's do this, like, let's go. Um, and so I thought, wouldn't this, like, the vision that I saw is this would become a big thing to, that I even saw like it being covered on the news, that there's this business startup boot camp and, all these women like pushing through to get their businesses out there,
I love it.
and to just get them launched. And it's like a programmer getting their program launched.
Right.
And I just kept seeing that, and I was like, wow, isn't that really interesting? I was like, that would be fun to like have these boot camps going and to grow that, so that it's like enough talking about having a business. Let's just go and
Yeah.
bring it to life and turn it into reality in 6 months time. And I was like, can you do that? I was like, you totally could do that.
You can, yeah. I mean, I think that she's definitely giving the green light there, and I think that was why she was like, "Well, let's talk about like the fact that she was saying like the 3 to 6 months, and also I think the piece there that ties back is the thought that this is going to multiply and grow and multiply and grow. And in order to do that, you really can't be just the one person all doing it all. So I think that's great, and I think she's just trying to give you that acknowledgement, but also I think the big point of her saying like that's the focus, like that's your next step. So whatever all the other balls or thoughts or maybe other ideas you might be having, I know I'm one of those. I tend to have lots of ideas. And it's just like doesn't mean here can I offer you a suggestion for those, because I feel like sometimes those feel like little babies and we're like, no, but I want to do that thing. It's like, yes, I know, and I have to tell myself that. So for my clients, I always say we have a list we call the blue notes list, and
Mm-hmm.
for some clients it's literally sticky notes with blue notes, and I'm like, just write it down on a blue note and set it aside. And then you review your blue notes every month, every quarter, and you look through. And maybe some of those are like, what was I thinking? And then other ones are like, oh, like that suddenly fits and it fits into what you're doing now. So I always encourage people, like, don't necessarily feel like you're giving up something else, especially when she's like, okay, focus on this. And you're like, but wait, I have all these other ideas. It's like, yes. And as those progress, this might fit in better because you've had this piece. So I always find that when the Oracle gives us like a, hey, this is the focus, it's really like, do this first, right? Have you ever built IKEA furniture?
Mm-hmm.
My husband and I do this, and I'm going to share the story because I think this is relevant, which is like, I'll be like the one like, okay, I'm going to read all of the instructions. And then he'll look at it over my shoulder and go, oh, okay, this goes there. I'm like, wait, no. It said you have to do this first because now we have to take the whole thing apart to get this other piece in there that we didn't follow directions. So it's like I think for her sometimes it's like, okay, when she's putting so purposefully to something, I'm always like very careful to tell people like, it's not saying you can't do the other things. It's really this is for your benefit. Like, do this next because there's a reason. It may not make sense until you get into it. And like I said, when you have your blue notes or whatever, however you do your list or whatever, you can always go back and check in and say, oh, now that I did that, this person that came to the group has something I need to go do that other thing. And you just never know. She does. And she always gets me when I try to not do those things. So I like to just remind everybody, like if she's pointed to something and being very specific about it being the next thing, I always recommend like just start there and give yourself permission to hold that other stuff softly and on the side and just check in and see if at any point something about what you just did is actually going to help you and benefit you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see it like the things that I'm doing now can integrate into it.
Right. And yeah. And it's the cool thing about that is, sometimes they integrate better. Like that's what I always find really interesting is when we've made that commitment to do something. And then my clients later, like 3 or 4 weeks later, will be like, I couldn't have planned this better, like this interaction that happened because of that. So I just encourage you to keep that in mind. And I love the question, and I hope how does that feel? Does that feel like it's giving you some insight there to kind of look at?
God, answered multiple questions.
I told you, I'm like, you're so lucky tonight because usually we only have a little bit of time. I'm like, you get to have double time tonight. I know. I love it. Well, I know that we mentioned your book a moment ago and you've been super gracious. So can you tell people again that have kind of come on because we have some new people and I know people are watching the replay, maybe came in a little later. So why don't you tell them a little bit more about that? And I'm going to go ahead and put the link up here for them really quickly.
Great. Yeah, so my book's called Exhausted Exuberant, and it's really designed for people who are in a job where they're feeling maybe burnt out, tired, exhausted, going all the time, working too hard and not having enough fun, to really transition into something that's going to be a lot more fulfilling for them, to really get clear on what that is and to really start envision that new lifestyle, starting with that really clear, as much clarity as possible on what that next step is for them or that next something that they're meant to move into, and really helping to start asking themselves those pivotal questions to really bring out what are the dreams of their heart.
I love it. So just for you guys that are watching, and if anybody is watching this while they're driving, all right, I'm glad you're listening and not watching.
Right.
But don't write. So I'm going to tell you, it's danielleisaac.com/ now I'm like having to read as it scrolls. Exhausted-2-exuberant. And so if you guys go to that link, Danielle's been gracious enough to let you guys download that book for free. Am I right? I should be careful that I said that. Yes.
You're right.
So this is what I give to you. So I encourage you guys as you're on the show watching this that you do take advantage of that. Again, if you're watching the show and you would like to be a guest as Danielle is and be as lucky as Danielle is and get to have the entire show to yourself, then I highly recommend that you join us by clicking on this, which we're going to switch up here, which is the OLTV-guest bit.ly, so bit.ly/OLTV.guest or -guest, excuse me. And that will give you the registration to join us next time on the show. We do have our show every Wednesday night. I want to say a special thank you to Danielle for being here. Thank you for the offer of the gift. I know that people will be really lucky to take advantage of that. And thank you for hanging out with me. It's been so fun.
Oh my God. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
All right. So this is the time of the night when, as I mentioned before, we are going to be sharing our questions. I'm going to look for some questions. I know there's some insights. I'm seeing some stuff happening. You guys are awesome. And just a reminder, of course, here it is, #insight. We'll pull somebody from the list and we'll send out the journal. Also, another note tonight, we are doing something special. So if you are watching and you would like to see the next show and make sure that you get notified when we are live, please in the comments, use the words live view, all caps, live, Live, VIEW, 2 words, live view, and we will go ahead and get you notified when we are live again each week, and you'll get to know right away so you can jump in, ask your questions, share your insights, be a part of the show, see amazing guests like Danielle who are doing amazing things and sharing about what they're up to so that you can learn more about the great work that is happening in the world, the light-bearing leaders and the purpose-driven entrepreneurs who are part of the wave, the positive wave, I would like to say, that is going on in the world today. So if you're watching this now, thank you for watching. Thank you guys for watching the replays. I know many of you are watching the replay, so thank you for that as well. Again, type in the comments live view and we will let you know next time we're live so you don't miss a thing and you don't miss an episode. If you are someone who, like I said, wants to be a guest, you can do that as well. I am Leah Dunlap, the Oracle on Purpose, and I'm about here to go ahead and look for some insights, and then we will do some quick questions. I don't know if I noticed any questions, so I will double check really quick. I didn't see any questions earlier, so we're good there. Let's go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do the insight drawing, and I would close my eyes, but that seems weird on screen, I was told, so I will just scroll through and look for someone's insight, and we will share it on the screen, and there. All right, this is the one. Oh, it's interesting. It's not an insight, but we're going to accept it because I think it was meant to be. So Maureen, hey, Maureen said, allow the vision to come forth and honor it. I love it. I love it. What a great insight. Thank you, Maureen. Maureen's such a great follower. Maureen, you should get like a badge for being like one of our top viewers. It's our top viewer award. We should have a top viewer award, folks. Wow. Okay. See, I get lots of ideas too. I do. So Danielle, don't worry. You're not the only one. But yes, thank you everybody for watching. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Maureen, for the insights. And we will see you next time for Oracle Live TV. Thank you, everybody. Have a great night.